Hello there, and many thanks for joining us on our program, Political Arena, this Wednesday morning. It's the midweek edition of Political Arena, reaching you live from the oil city of Warri, Delta Ring with television. Warri, welcome. My name is Christy Jahua Yeniku. Glad to be your guide on the program today. Political Arena is a program that brings you up to speed with recent happenings in the polity within the Nigeria political space. For quite a while now, we have been with the 2023 election, and we will stay with it because it's still very hot and in the front burner of all for our discussions in Nigeria. But today we shall be taking a look at the presidential election just weeks away. When we talk about the presidential election, which is scheduled for this February 25, we want to look at what the permutations are. Are there some traditional permutations that have worked before along party lines, or this time around, given the recent technology by the Independent National Electoral Commission, there is just no room for permutations? That's what we'll be looking at this morning. And we have joining us now
Reverend Udumebraye Dave Usiobe.
Okay, Reverend Udumebraye Dave Usiobe, welcome to the program. He's also a political analyst.
Thank you.
Now, when we talk about permutation, right from political space onto the United States, where we borrowed the presidential system from, and some other sub-regional, there's been a history of permutations not actually working according to calculations on election day, given when the results are released. And looking at what we have presently, out of 16 political parties, we have what many term the four big ones. We have the All Progressive Congress, the APC, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, we have the LP Labour Party, and we have the NNPP, New Nigerian People's Party. Here we're talking about the presidential flag bearers of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and of course Alhaji Kwakwanzo. In looking at what the campaigns pictures have been like thus far, do you think that there are actually on the table doing some sort of permutation? What are the guidelines? What exactly do politicians look at when it comes to the presidency in doing such permutations?
Okay, before I attempt the question, when you say the big four party, my party is not there.
You are of the Accord Party.
Yeah.
Okay, Accord. I started by saying we have, of course, much more than this. Registered political parties 16, and then we have the Accord Party, we have the Boot Party, there are quite a number of them. If we look at your party, for instance, I wouldn't know that we've had jingles or advertisement from you, your presidential candidate, or that. However, it's the same license that the Independent National Electoral Commission gave to the so-called popular four that the Accord Party has as well. So let's say all of the parties are big.
The truth is, this election, this forthcoming general election, by the grace of God and the preparation of Nigerians, is going to be a different one entirely.
When you say different, what will make the difference?
It's not going to be a business as usual.
In what regard?
In terms of voting, the way we used to have it, before now, we've already known who our next president will be. But now we have much work to do before the election, and we'll be doing before now. The big political parties, we have two major parties before now, which is the APC and the PDP.
Now this time you are the one calling them major and big.
No, why I said before now. Before now. But this election has made it broad, widened it, having the Labour Party, the Accord, the NNPP making waves all over. So the normal traditional thing is not going to stand in this forthcoming election.
Please bring us up to speed with the normal traditional thing that you're talking about. Again, you say before now we would already have a clear picture of who the next president will be. What are those calculations you use in arriving at that? How come we used to do that? What precisely are the permutations? What are the lines and indices for such calculations?
Because what I said, the normal traditional things, before now, we see results being doctored.
Before the elections?
Even during and after election, before announcement, we see results being doctored by the big guns influencing the INEC and other related bodies. But this time around, INEC has actually made their points known and also developed in their work by making the beavers available for all Nigerians to come and vote. And if we should go by that, it will be very difficult. It will be very difficult for the average Nigerian to calculate how the voting will look like. It will be very difficult for us to foretell the outcome of the election, because it's going to be very hot this time around. So that's why I said it's not going to be business as usual, and it's not going to be the normal traditional things of doctoring the results right in the presence of electorates. Things are being done, but this time around I think it's going to be something different, because Nigerians are ready to change the narratives. We are ready to test another political party. We are ready to see a new Nigeria, and this is what we all are working for. This is what we all are working for. So I want to also call on the INEC to stick to their words, to stick to their promises, to stick to the Electoral Act, in order for us to get that free, fair and credible election they promised, so that Nigeria can at least start again from a clean slate.
Alright, so Nigeria will start again from a clean slate. It's going to take the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, sticking to their words and promises. And their words and promises, you say this time around, the difference is in majorly technology of beavers. That's the bimodal voter accreditation system. Now, these beavers, which seem to be the magic wand, as it were, you know, that's what everyone is believing it to be. But if we look at what's happening in Osun election, just by the side, are we cocksure that beavers is going to be the almighty solution?
That's where my fear actually lies, because we're told that results will be transmitted electronically, and whatever that is being transmitted is the true picture of the election.
Ought to be the true picture, or actually is the true picture of the election results?
Ought to be.
We have to be careful of this one. Giving Osun.
Yes. Using Osun as a case study, we expected the result transmitted by the beavers to be the true picture. But with the new developments, we are afraid.
We are afraid.
Yes.
Now, we over the years, I don't know if you have that opinion as well, that the Independent National Electoral Commission is its independence, it's quote and unquote, it's questionable. There have been clamor by stakeholders for a thorough, a true independence for the electoral umpire, to the tune that in the previous elections there have been observation and allegations of some politicians actually coercing INEC to do what is against the law. There have been influence and interference in this so-called independence. Now, this time around, looking at the technology and the new electoral act, and then giving Osun, just staring us in the face here, there are people who are calling for the heads of staffers of INEC already. Those who may have you back. We sincerely apologize for the loss of audio right there. And we're still looking at the 2023 presidential election and permutations of political parties. And of course, our guest is still with us in the studio, and he has said that it's no longer going to be business as usual. That's why the 2023 election cycle is going to be different. He says that before now, at this time, voters or Nigerians generally would be able to predict indeed the next president of the nation, and they would get it right. But he says it's no longer going to be business as usual. That is not even possible right now, given to a number of factors. Chief amongst them, he says, is the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS. And before we went on that short break, we were asking to what extent can these BVAS, almighty BVAS, be trusted, given Osun election tribunal judgment recently just staring us in the face. And so I come back to you because I was saying that there are people already calling for heads to roll, that heads should roll in the case of Osun, because it seems that BVAS is compromised here. If so, what are your own permutation on moving forward? Because the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said that they have no plans whatsoever towards discarding the use of BVAS, as there has been some rumors in some quarter and clamor for it, and that that of the electronic transmission of results as well. Going forward,
if we must get it right, there must be a system to also checkmate the activities of INEC, to checkmate their equipments, their staffs before the election.
Who do this checkmating?
And that's why I said there should be a system. There should be a system, or
so we need a regulator or monitor for INEC.
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm actually saying. We need another body that will be empowered to checkmate INEC and the activities. Because with what we are seeing now, Nigerians will not trust the result if the result go otherwise. If the result go otherwise, I pray there will be no problem. If not, we are foreseeing that already. And it's just that we are just too close to the election. Today is February 1st and 25th is the Presidential and National Assembly elections. So the time is so short. If at all there is any way we can set up a system, set up a system to monitor.
Given the time frame, do you see the possibility of that?
It's still possible.
It's still possible.
Yes.
Are you seeing the possibility of putting in place a body constitutionally empowered to act as check and balances on INEC at this time, given the first day of February, we're looking at the 25th? Or perhaps are you calculating those who are doing some permutation with regards to a possible postponement?
Yes, that is exactly where I am looking at. If we must get it right, then the date of the election will be affected. Because the whole world are so much interested in this coming election. They are so much interested. They want to see how the election will look like. They want to test the credibility of INEC with this their almighty beavers and with this their promises and all that. And if we miss it now, Nigeria will start all over again. We'll lose our integrity, our credibility. Even the little we have now, we'll lose it again. So that is why I am suggesting, anyway, because I don't have the power, I am suggesting to the authority, if possible, let us set up a system to monitor and to checkmate INEC. And of course, it will definitely affect the normal date of the election, and the election will be, if possible, shifted by a week or two, because we just need to get it right.
A week or two will be enough to see the loopholes that the interference on beavers in the Osun case.
If corruption is not involved.
To correct it.
If corruption is not involved.
If corruption is not involved. That would be like asking you for how that will be possible again. But then, let's come closer to the topic. Presidential election permutations. The permutations for political parties. Now, I'd like us to look at your party is the Accord Party. Yeah. You are here alone. We're not going to dwell mainly or solely on the Accord Party. Let's start with the People's Democratic Party. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria conferred on the citizen freedom of association, political association and otherwise. Right now, if you look at the PDP, for instance, they have what we call the G5. Some call them the 5 governors, others call them the group of 5, some still call them the gang of 5, depends on who's talking. Now these governors are sticking to their gum as far as whether or not they are supporting the presidential candidate of their party. As we speak, they are in support, very, very much so. If you look at His Excellency Governor Wike's state, for instance, of a PDP governor emerging in that state. But what we can't see in the binoculars is whether or not they are putting all their cards in the basket of the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party. Now, do you think the loss of the G5 support for the PDP, for instance, it's going to have impact the results, possibly a potential loss of that party at the presidential election? Let's start with the PDP.
Take it or leave it. PDP is somehow divided. Because if the likes of Governor Nyesom Wike is protecting his state only, is protecting only his state for a PDP governor to emerge, but not giving the same support to the presidential ticket, there's a problem. There's a problem. Autumn, the same thing. I saw a post, a governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party aligning with the Labour Party presidential candidate in the same poster, with the logo of PDP here under him and the logo of Labour Party under the presidential candidate. That one is telling you already that I have PDP to protect in my state, but at the presidential level, I am not with PDP.
Well, that's a logo you saw.
I saw a picture.
Okay, it was not a vision anyway. It was real. It's something real time.
Yes.
Okay, there are others who have seen too handwriting on the wall of a possible alliance between the New Nigerian People's Party, talking about the NPP, the Akwakwaziya's movement, and the PDP.
Aligning with the PDP.
And if you look at that possibility, and go up to some of the states, Kano inclusive, there are signals already for the kind of defections we are seeing of high ranking politicians in the NNPP already, romancing politically with the PDP. So while you are looking at that possibility of a division because of the G5, that also stands, don't you think?
I do think that also stands. But the truth is, like I said earlier on, this time around, you have your choice. I have my choice. Nigerians are wise now, because my boss is following PDP, and what I am looking for as a person, as an individual, I'm not seeing it in PDP. I'm not seeing it in PDP. I will vote my choice. We have a lot of followers like that. I saw a billboard carrying a picture of House of Assembly member from this political party, House of Rep, another political party, governorship, another political party, APC, another president, just like that. These are my candidates, irrespective, and is a card-carrying member of a party.
And for those positions, his party candidates were in there.
Just one.
Just one.
Just the governorship.
So it's 1/5 for him.
Yes, 1/5. He said because what he's looking for, what he's expecting, is not in the other candidates in House of Assembly. The one in his constituency is not having the quality he's looking at. So same thing go down to other areas. This time around, like I said here some time ago, I said we're going to have, like Delta State House of Assembly, God helping us. It's not going to be that big party structure. Other political parties will emerge. We're going to have multiple parties in the State House. Likewise, the House of Rep, the Senate, like that. Because if my party is not sponsoring a credible candidate, and I'm looking for a new and a better Nigeria, and I see another political party sponsoring a credible candidate who have the qualities I am looking for, I will go in for that man. So that's why I said it's not going to be this 5/5 music of a thing. It will fail. It will fail.
Okay, I guess we still have some time. 5 minutes. Okay, but let's look at the All Progressive Congress. But it's not really leaving the PDP, so to say, because the PDP and the APC is someone will tell you that, before in the 2015-2019 election, we have the NPDP, and then we have the, there is a measure of a whole lot of things.
Which one is the NPDP?
Okay, we would look at that some other time. But you see, you have the G5 thing is not new.
Yeah,
that's my point exactly. We had that situation during the previous election cycle where we had that NPDP, the new PDP, where some 7 governors, then it was G7. Okay, right now in looking at whether or not there's going to be a possible rematch between the Labour Party and that of the PDP, if you look at issues like rotation, okay, you look at issues of, because you just raised the issues of candidature versus party supremacy.
Yeah.
I know the phrase party is supreme is one that is very popular, but what you guys are saying right now as politicians is party is no longer supreme. People are looking at the candidate in question.
Yeah.
In looking at that, the All Progressive Congress APC has Bola Ahmed Tinubu as its presidential flag bearer. Any qualms, any permutations?
Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima. I want our people to know something. The North are up to something. I don't want to dabble into that fully, but let me pinch something out of it. If you watch this Kwankwaso movement aligning with the PDP, something is fishy that the South are yet to envisage. The South are yet to see. I said it even before the primaries. I said if PDP give their ticket to a Northerner, APC will not give theirs to the Northerner. And they will give it to somebody that is very weak in the South in order for the North to have it again.
Why do you think that?
I think so, and that is exactly what they have done.
They have a deputy that is from the North already as a party. Should anything happen, I mean, no one is saying something's going to happen, because you are saying if they do not give it to Ahmed Tinubu, I mean, he has the warm supporter for Northern, a person of that.
The North are so united, and I have a faction or a replicant of the North in Delta State and Udu local government per se. If Udu local government choose a candidate, irrespective of the party, whether the party is known or not, that is the person they will deliver. Likewise, the North.
Up until recently, that local government has always gone for the opposition.
Yes.
It's political history.
God bless you. Because they believe in that candidate. And
the candidate always delivered for them.
Good.
Has it worked for them positively when it comes to infrastructural development and all that?
To a very large extent, it has worked for them.
The question precisely is that
now, coming back to the Ahmed Bola Tinubu ticket and all that, the party, let me not foretell what will happen, but the party we miss it because of the man in question, the health challenge and all that. People are wise.
Everyone
People are
has health challenge.
But not that one now.
You think the health challenge of the APC presidential flag bearer, the APC, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is major challenge?
It's a major
We
challenge.
have a president currently who had challenges and his run is 8 years.
Yes. Yes. When the man came, it was not this bad like the way Bola Ahmed Tinubu is starting. The difference is there. And another disadvantage is the Muslim ticket.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been going through his campaigns. When you say this bad, I really wouldn't understand that.
Okay.
Okay, you say the Muslim ticket. As you round it up.
It's another problem. Because what your people fail to understand, I've come to understand.
If you are looking at candidates, will you be bringing in the faith-based issues? Would you be looking at the religious lines?
That cannot be ruled out. It cannot be ruled out. Because we have Christians who are members of the party in the north. Picking a same faith man to be your running mate simply means among the Christians, no credible person there. No credible person there. So only your faith has credible people. That's on one side. Then on the other side, WARRI has run 8 years. And I came to understand that if one faith run the system for 10 years, that country become a state of that faith. Become a state of that faith. So having a Muslim running Nigeria for 10 years.
Do you have constitutional provision for this your position? When a faith runs, in any case, we're not voting faiths. We have never voted faiths. But from what you're saying, when a faith, someone of a particular faith, say a Muslim, runs a country for 10 years.
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
Yes.
It automatically makes us an Islamic state? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
How? What shows?
Okay, let me go this way.
Can you define an Islamic state, for instance?
Since our time is almost up, let's get this topic for another day.
We have 5 more minutes.
Let's I know what I'm saying, so that I can make facts available for you.
You know, because when you say that this time around things are going to be different, it's not business as usual, people are not going to be voting along political party lines but candidates. If I am an adherent of African traditional religion, or Igbejigbele, or whatever other religion, you shouldn't look at that, because in my candidacy you have seen something you want. Why would my faith now becomes a challenge if you're saying we're leaving the political party aside? And to the extent that there are people who are still card-carrying members of their political parties and are rooting out for someone else in the full glare of the public. Why should my faith comes to play? Has faith ever delivered for us?
The thing is, the man Ahmed Tinubu foughted same faith ticket years back. He foughted it, that he will never stand in for same faith ticket.
So that's already
publicly.
Okay.
And same person now is not coming up with same faith ticket.
Do you think his hands are tied in this case?
If I think his hands are tied in this case,
given the Emiloko,
your hands should not be tied to the point of swallowing your words. It will kill the trust of the people.
That takes integrity, issue of integrity from it.
You understand? If you say a thing, try to stand by it. You faulted it, and this is what you are doing now. You're not telling us any good thing about it.
Do you think that there is a correlation between the faith of a particular politician, flag bearer? Is there a correlation between faith and integrity? The level of corruption we have in this country, never a time have we had somebody who says, I am a juju man, quote unquote juju, that is somebody who is an atheist, somebody who does not believe in, who is not a Muslim or Christian. We've never had somebody in that saddle. We've always had people who were Christians or Muslims, and we see the huge level of corruption that we're faced with?
My sister, we have a vice president who is a Christian, a pastor. Killings were rampant. Nothing was said, nothing was done. Christians were butchered, slaughtered, kidnapped and killed.
He's a vice president, he's not the president.
If we have a Christian who is a pastor in that ticket,
He should have resigned or
and
what?
no, and
What should he
nothing-
have done
I'm
that
coming,
he didn't do?
I'm going somewhere, and nothing was done to stop all this killing,
Nothing was done, no attempt made.
to stop this killing, and the killing is still on the rise in every morning, every day. Not the talk of having a Muslim ticket. Let's look at it from that angle. We have a Christian in the ticket. Christians were killed, deprived, stopped from worshiping God. And not talk of having a Muslim ticket.
No, because we're talking about this, we should be holistic in our viewpoint when it comes to the killings. Okay, there are towns and local governments at the time
Yes,
taking
Muslims were also attacked. Yes.
in that case.
I agree with you 100%.
So when we have a Muslim Christian ticket and this happened, where is the position of faith?
Position of faith.
Yes.
Now,
Where is the
now we want to
impact?
have a Muslim, and the people committing the havoc. The people committing the havoc are traced to a particular faith. Are traced to a particular faith.
All right, so your submission here is, even though party, it's not going to be business as usual, it's not going to be, voting is not going to be cast according to political lines, it's going to be candidature, who is the person, irrespective. However, it's not irrespective of the person's faith.
Irrespective of their parties.
What about the faith?
The faith. I am against same-faith tickets.
We're going to have to leave
I am
it there.
against same-faith tickets.
Okay, Ethan is not afraid
Yes.
today. We just hope that we'll pursue this topic some other time. Reverend. Okay. We thank you for being with us today. I've been told to wind this up. All right, so we are up for something different this time around. The elections come February 25. We hope that presidential election will be carried out, but he has said with the recent Osun scenario, most likely wise thing to do for us to get positive results and to have something different that will be a tandem with what the people aspire is a possible postponement or something that could impact the date of this forthcoming presidential election. And of course, he has said that when it comes to the issue of integrity or candidature for the PDP, that's the People's Democratic Party, the role, the G5, how the G5 is handled is to a great extent going to impact the results for that party. Okay, even though we're looking at whether there's going to be a possible alliance between the NNPP and the PDP, he says the PDP would be impacted no matter what. He says this, he said, because the North are up to something. He said the South needs to wake up and open their eyes. He didn't expatiate further on that one. We're going to have to leave it at this point and say for the challenge of the beavers as far as Osun is concerned, the tribunal judgment, election tribunal judgment, you said the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, should stick to their words and promises to ensure that they do not discard the use of the beavers or the electronic transmission of election results. I'd like to thank you very much, Reverend Udumebrai.
Thank you very
of
much.
the Accord Party and of course a political analyst. Many thanks for your enlightenment this morning. That's our program today. We thank you for being part of it and urge you to join us again on Friday for Friday's edition of the Political Arena on DRTV, Delta Rainbow Television, WARRI. On behalf of our producers, Johnson Obaseje, John Glover and Grace Mato, I am Christy Jahoa Yenuku saying thank you to the crew too, Tejiri, Utake and many others. Stay out of trouble. Nigeria can only be better. You and I got to do it right. See you again.